in the fourth quarter? Is he going to be scoring, 37 to 40 like he has been? And then lastly, Trae Young, who is going to be the fourth possibility. So, do we have Alex on the line? I heard a ring. I think it's time to play Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. If you're good, we can bring him on and we'll get rolling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How's it going, man? How you doing?
Hey, Preston, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're great, man. And we're excited that we have at least two people here for day 3 participating in a chance to not only cash $250 today, but then you're only 4 questions away and 4 winners away from cashing $25,000. We want to kind of ease you into it again. I know we don't want too much pressure here. We also want the crowd to get to know you, because if you win today and you start laddering up and you have a chance to win $25K, let's talk a little bit about Alex. So yesterday, Alex told us, hey, my love for sports betting really came from the fact that I used to coach, and I just kind of saw the game as an art. And yeah, it's a deep strategy game too. So that mix of like deep strategy, art versus like everything else about the game and the X's and O's really is what kind of brought him and brought the love to him. So for us, I'm curious now, relating that to betting, how did those experiences coaching in the past affect your approach to betting now?
Well, I started with football and college football. I feel like college football is a little easier to analyze and not so sharp, but I feel like I was able to evaluate matchups, pretty easily and see, what value there was, or I feel like I had a better understanding of what I'm watching, maybe opposed to someone who is just betting for fun. And
sure,
I don't know. I feel like some kind of like connection, like a psychological connection between the intangibles and maybe the statistics, when you combine the two.
So I'm going to ask you one more question. We're going to go a step further now, a little bit learning about your betting past. Tell us, if you can, you have plenty of time. We don't want to, take up too much of your time, but you can tell us a story of your past, your favorite betting memory, or maybe your biggest win that you've had, something that you can kind of get you pumped up and amped, because after that, we're going to give you the question and we'll play Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire.
I'm really happy that you asked this question, because it's a good memory, of course, right? A big win. But I haven't been sports betting for long. I used, when I started sports betting, I was a huge square. I'm taking huge money lines and
like Qwan,
giant spreads. Too scared to even look at an underdog. But I of course you improve in this last college football season. I'm a big Miami Dolphins fan, so I like this guy Tua. I can't pronounce his last name. Even for playing for the Dolphins, I can't really pronounce his name, but he has his brother. His brother plays in Maryland, and I watched the game where they started installing him into the plays, and he had potential, man. That guy looks like a little version of Tua. Maybe the decision making is not there yet. Maybe his size is not there yet. But anyway, they had a game against I believe it was Penn State last year, and they might have been like. Maryland was 21-point underdogs.
Yep.
And this is Tua's. I don't even know his name, to be completely honest with you. I knew it was Tua's little brother.
That's what everyone's going to call him for the rest of his life. It's okay.
Well, we'll see what see if he makes a mark for himself, hopefully. But anyway, he was 21-point underdog. They just installed him into the offense. And Penn State hasn't been playing well up to that point. I couldn't tell you exactly why off the top of my head, but the line didn't seem right, so I bit a little bit on the 21.5, and then I just remembered, like, after the first play, I just this kid, I think he's gonna do it. I think Penn State is not playing well after only a few plays, and I don't know if everyone likes live betting, but I love watching the lines as the game goes on. The way the number moves, how it moves, by what amount it does it move, depending on what happens. I think is very fascinating. Anyway, they were at plus 600 to start the game around like the first couple of drives, maybe, and I had to. This looks like it. Penn State hadn't been playing well. Tua's little brother was on fire, man. He was just that rifle arm and moving out of the pocket. The defensive coordinator from Penn State looked like he was not prepared for that. He looks like they were completely ready for something else, and they just threw a curveball at him. And I jumped on that 600 as much as I possibly could, and with the idea that maybe I'll cash out. After halftime I'll cash out.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to make a little run. And they give me some value, but at halftime, I don't know. I took a roll of the dice, and they pulled out the victory, and I was able to cash on a plus 600 next bet. I was really happy. It felt fun. It felt like I had a good day that day.
I was just looking it up because I remember that game and I was following it, and I'm trying to pull up to see what that score at halftime actually was. I'm going to do it in the next 10 seconds. But I remember thinking the same thing where everyone's like, okay, well, it was the first half. It's Tua's little brother. No one's actually really seen him play yet, so they'll make their adjustments at halftime and Penn State will be fine. And I can't recall off the top of my head how big the point spread was in that game, but they ended up winning 35-19. Like, it didn't even really get close. And I believe it was 28-7 was a halftime score. And I think it was like almost a 2-touchdown halftime spread. And I know some guys that actually bet Maryland's second half, and that ended up being no problem too. So that was a great read by you. Good example from Alex. Cashes a plus 600, gets him amped. And are you ready to play? You good to go?
I'm absolutely ready to play. And I remember it not getting much closer because I was ready to cash out. I had my finger on the button, and
you never had to. I know. Yeah. It's perfect. Cool. All right. So we talked a little bit about, if you haven't heard, we also did, if you're curious or you want some help, because we do have lifelines, you can either ask me what my choice would be, or we can go to the Twitter poll and ask what the majority was, which when we asked this question, which totals more, Trae Young points tonight or a tie? There's a chance that the high scorer tonight is a tie. Joel Embiid, Paul George, or Donovan Mitchell. 55% went with Donovan Mitchell. So if you want to go that direction, you can. That's where the audience went. But you tell us. You can talk it through if you need to. Who's your pick?
Well, in a perfect vacuum, in a perfect world, I would have to go with Embiid because the matchups are there. They can't stop him. I don't, if he was perfectly healthy, and I feel like this is just a bet on who's the healthiest. Is Embiid that injured? I think I looked it up, and he was quoted as saying that he doesn't have the lift, and it's only been one day. So I can't, as much as he looks like the perfect bet, I can't bet on health with him. I also think in theory, down that same road, I think Paul George and Reggie Jackson could score some points. They're pretty good. They can hold their own, but Utah's such good defense, and they're hyped up now, and they're playing in altitude. So in theory, Paul George could, but I can't go with him either. And Trae Young, I just, Philadelphia has a pretty good defense. I can't, and he had his arm all wrapped up. So again, you're betting in the game, or are you betting their health? And out of all the, Mitchell's hurt too, but there's no Conley, so he has more looks at the basket. And the Clipper defense, you can't argue that they're not going to lose a little bit of defense losing Kawhi. So I think the majority there is probably right. Yeah, Mitchell. I have to go with Mitchell.
Okay. Alex is locking it in. We're going to go Donovan Mitchell. Everyone will be sweating. You're with the audience. Everyone's rooting for you. You win tonight, $250. You're back tomorrow for day 4, and just a few questions from 25,000.
Awesome.
All right, man. You take it easy. Good luck tonight.
Good luck with your vegan journey, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I need all the help I can get, to be honest. Although I did go back, I'll say thank you again for the call, Alex, and good luck. I went to a farm late yesterday after we did the show. We shot it, and you can buy produce straight from the farm. It's great. I've gone back-to-back weeks, and it's helped me keep up on eating the greens, eating the fruit. Do we have Kyle? Is he close? All right. We're going to bring Kyle on. He's contestant 2. Again, there's only 2 that have made it through to this point to day 3. He can cash his $250 today if he picks a winner, and he'll move on again tomorrow to day 4. Kyle, you there? Can you hear me? It's Preston.
Yep, I'm in.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being patient. Alex was telling great stories about his background as a coach and this great 6-1 he hit on Maryland against Penn State in college football last year. So I'm going to do the same thing that we did with him, with you, kind of let you ease into it. We want to take the pressure off, and we want people to get to know you, because if you get this right and you ladder up and in a couple of days you're making a pick for $25,000, we want everyone rooting for you. So tell us, we kind of learned a little bit about you yesterday when we did day 2. What is your favorite betting memory, or maybe it's your biggest win that you've had, but something that resonates with you that's kind of really amped you up, and it'll hype you up here for this question today?
Yeah, so actually recently, within the past few months, back in February, about mid-February, I want to say, I placed a future bet on the Phoenix Suns to win the Pacific Division when they were 16-1. And really kind of my thoughts behind that were, they're right up there with the Lakers and with the Clippers. But I kept, thinking a little bit. I'm like, man, if it comes down to it, if they're still neck and neck towards the end of the year, I feel like, the Lakers and the Clippers are going to be more worried about, resting some of their main guys, especially, being older.
Totally.
In LeBron and especially with Anthony Davis fighting injuries and stuff too. So I kind of figured maybe both of them would be wanting to rest some of their starters and may care more about, championship versus, winning the division. So that was kind of my thoughts with that. And it was fun, man, because it's like I'm a Nuggets fan, diehard Nuggets fan, but having the Suns as kind of a team to follow as well was fun because it's like, I'm not as engaged with other teams in the NBA other than, the Nuggets. Obviously I know other teams, but to follow them that closely on a nightly basis was fun.
That's what makes sports betting so great. It doesn't matter who you are, who you're rooting for. If you have action on that game or that team, like you're going to watch the games, right? It just gives you another reason to follow along. Plus you were dead on. By the way, when you first started, you said, earlier in the year, I was lucky enough to bet on the Phoenix Suns to win. And I thought you were going to say the title or the West. And I was going to say, goodness, this Chris Paul news. It's awful timing. But I'm glad you just said the division because you already cashed that. You've hopefully already spent the money. Well done. If you're ready to go, we'll give you the question of the day and we can play Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. You good?
Yeah, let's do it, Preston.
Awesome. Okay. So, by the way, we did do a poll earlier. I'm not sure if you saw it or not. If you want to go with the audience's help, you can. Which totals more? We're going to talk 4 players and how many points they score. Trae Young, or if there's a tie, it's possible the leading scorer tonight in the NBA playoffs is a tie. Joel Embiid, Paul George, or Donovan Mitchell. Take your time. You can talk them through. I'm sure you're aware now, no Kawhi Leonard. That point spread's moved up to 8. Paul George going to be getting more usage. Joel Embiid coming off of that 0 for 12 second half against Atlanta. I'm intrigued tonight to see what happens. Where do you think the right play is?
Man, I think it's between Donovan Mitchell and Joel Embiid. I really think that both of them are going to be on their A game today or tonight. Paul George, it's tough to take him, especially with, now, the weight on his shoulders, not having Kawhi. I don't know how he's going to, react to that. I don't really trust playoff P to that extent. So
I wouldn't trust playoff P either.
I'm going to go, it's chalk, man. And I know the guy before me went with Donovan Mitchell, but I think it's the right side. He's been on fire. And after, game 4, seeing him, put up, I think it was 37. And especially, that's the game before where he left with the ankle injury, seeing him put up 37 in game 4, I feel like it's reassurance that he's okay. I think, they, as a team, they probably feel like they can put, the foot on the neck and take a series lead. So I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell. I think he balls out in this game and obviously happy to be in this situation, hopeful that he puts up some numbers, but yeah, going with Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. So just so you're aware, I'm not sure if you were listening live before we tapped you in. Alex also went with Donovan Mitchell. So we're either going to have 2 contestants tomorrow for day 4, and that's $500 going your guys' way. Or we're starting again day 1. We'll reset, and everyone's welcome to call in again. We'll see what happens. Hey, Kyle, good luck. I hope we are talking tomorrow. I genuinely do. I think it'll be fun to see if you guys can make a run. Good luck, and let's see Donovan Mitchell drop 40.
Appreciate it, Preston. Have a good rest of your day, man.
Yep, you too. Take care. Qwan, we'll make sure you're ready. We can throw the camera on you. If you're in their shoes, I know we talked a little bit about this before we went live. Who are you going? The Twitter audience, the poll, it was Donovan Mitchell in a landslide. It was like 55%. I think Joel Embiid was number 2. It's 19%. Both callers go with Donovan Mitchell. Who are you going with? You're in their shoes. You got a chance to just a free $250 and that much closer to $25,000. Who are you taking?
I'm going Mitchell. I think
everyone's going Mitchell.
Kyle made a great point. Who is going to trust playoff P right now? And you get the devastating news about Kawhi losing basically the next 9 months of his career. I don't think Embiid is Embiid yet, and I think the most likely scenario is Mitchell and Utah putting the nail in the coffin, putting the dagger in the coffin, and him totaling more tonight.
All right, so I have to be the contrarian one then, right? We have everyone going Mitchell. Look, this is the thing. Everyone's so worried about playoff P and the Clippers. The spread now is pretty big. Like, this is an 8-point spread now. It's in Salt Lake. You talk about the altitude, no Kawhi. I mean, there's a chance the Jazz are just up 20 at the end of the third and Mitchell doesn't even play in the fourth quarter. Like, I think that's definitely in the mix more than people are maybe giving credit for. And Joel Embiid looks so bad in that second half. I understand why you're scared there. I think the sneaky one, I know people don't think there's going to be a tie, but Trae Young could just get hot from 37 feet where he loves to shoot from. Or if they're playing him and doubling him, he traps, he can split. He gets to the free throw line pretty frequently. I don't know. Just it feels like a Trae Young night. I'm not sure why. If you look at the actual markets, the suggestion would be Donovan Mitchell is the best play. That's fair. That's what everyone went with. I don't blame him when it's all said and done. But Trae Young plus a chance that maybe the leader tonight is like Mitchell drops 32, but so does Paul George. That goes to A. That's the Trae Young option. So I'm going to take the tie or Trae Young. I think they can get it done.
It's hard to say that Trae Young won't have a game, but I mean, you're looking at, I saw Mitchell was 33.5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So give or take a few points, it's shooting. You live and die by it, and they had a good game last game. How often, that's just probabilities, I guess.
To be honest, I think we can't do this entire show and not give Donovan Mitchell credit for averaging what seems to be about 37. I'm not sure what it is in the series, but he had that huge 45 or 47-point game, then like 33, 37, 30. It's amazing. And then there's 2 of those games he couldn't come back and play after he twisted his ankle, which he didn't even play in game 1 of the first series because his ankle was still not 100%. Fantastic. I mean, he's making his way up into that at least top 20 discussion as far as players, but maybe even a little bit higher. I'll be watching closely. I hope both of them win. I hope everyone's right, including you, because I want 2 people with $500 and playing day 4 tomorrow.
We need some winners.
Yeah, that's the idea. Now, the fun part about this, and then we'll close it up, we'll wrap it up. Everyone out there, as nice as Alex and Kyle are, you don't want them to win. You want them both to lose. You should be anti-sweating Donovan Mitchell. You should be rooting for any of the other 3 options, because if they're wrong, it's day 1. We start back again tomorrow. It's the ladder and up time, and it's free for anyone to call in and try to make their way up. So just keep that in mind when you watch tonight. We're going to close this up. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Donovan Mitchell for both Alex and Kyle, $500 on the line, and 4 questions from 25,000. We'll see if they can get it done. This is Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire, brought to you by BetsTV. I am Preston Johnson, your host. Thank you, DeQwan Young. We'll see you guys tomorrow.